Auburn Blitz is now on the air, your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello again, everyone, and good Friday afternoon. Welcome into the latest edition of the Auburn Blitz. I am Andy Graham alongside Brett Pritchard. We'll be with you for the next hour, taking your comments, taking your phone calls, talking about everything going on in the world of Auburn athletics. It is game day eve. Auburn will take on Mercer tomorrow night, Jordan-Hare Stadium. We've been waiting for this for quite a while. Looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll be a nice night. Maybe the rain will hold off and Auburn can get off on the right foot, get a win started on this 2022 season. We'll talk about that a little bit. Obviously, get your predictions in. We got some yesterday. Continue those today. What do you think the final score will be for Auburn and Mercer? Did you watch any of the games last night? There were some interesting games, some Auburn competition. Penn State was in action. Missouri was in action. So you got a chance to look at that a little bit, maybe do a little scouting. What did you think of those teams? We'll talk about these things and much more, break down Auburn and Mercer a little bit further today, maybe some expectations that we have for this upcoming game. How do we think it's going to play out? What does Auburn need to do? What would you like to see from Auburn as far as execution-wise? We can talk about these things again and much more. High school football tonight, of course. But as always, it's all Auburn.
It's already
here.
third week of high school.
Yeah, really.
Good Lord.
It's flying by. That's, well, I mean, we're in September already.
Yeah,
so.
it's time.
But this is, the fun time of year when you do a sports show like this and talking about football and you can actually react to real results. But anyway, we appreciate all of you out there. We appreciate you being with us each and every day, and we'd love to hear from you. So 256-234-6221 is our number here, or just dial us up on the Sports Blitz Facebook page. That's Sports with a Z, and comment away, and we'll get to as many of those as we can throughout the show.
I was on Gary Harris's show this morning, as I am every Friday, and he asked me, what is the barometer of the Auburn fans? He said, is it doom and gloom? Is it excitement? I told him it's a kind of a mix of all. I thought that, you talk to one Auburn fan and they don't have any expectations at all. They think the ship is sinking. You talk to the next guy and man, he or she says, hey, I think we're going to exceed expectations. Don't sleep on Auburn. Usually when we're counted out, it's when we show up. So welcome to the world of being an Auburn fan. I told Gary, I said, that really doesn't change from one year to the next. I said, that's usually how the Auburn fan base is going into every season. I said, and it's really unknown what you get from one year to the next, because you can come off a 0-8 SEC record and go to a national championship game, and then you can also come in preseason ranked in the top 5 in the country and lay the biggest egg that you can possibly lay. So you just don't know where Auburn is going to go from one week to the next, or from 1 year to the next. So, I mean, do you think majority of the fan base is excited about the season, or just excited about getting started, or do you think they're just kind of sitting there waiting for things to fall apart? What do you think?
I think, like you said, I think it's interesting that it is a bit of a mixed bag. But I think when you look at it as far as the big picture, I think people are nervous. And I think people are concerned because when they look at the big picture, you factor in what has happened, and you factor in the Brian Harsin factor, and the dysfunction kind of that all of that entails. And I don't think the majority of the fan base believes in T.J. Finley. But when you break it down into individual pieces, Brad, I think most of I would go as far as to say I think the vast majority of the fan base really likes the defense.
Yeah.
I think the vast majority of the fan base really likes the backfield. I think the vast majority of the fan base is optimistic about the wide receivers. It's the offensive line, it's the quarterback that people are concerned about, and they're right to be concerned about.
And T.J. Finley, rightfully or wrongfully, fans the sample they've got to go off of goes further back than what he did at Auburn last year. If you look at the games he played in at LSU, the reason he couldn't solidify that starting job is because he was not consistent. And the thing that TJ Finley has battled since he's been in the SEC, whether it be at LSU or be at Auburn, is that he's up 1 minute and he's down the next, and literally from one drive to the next. You don't know what he's going to do and don't know what he's going to bring to the table. That's on him. You know, he's got to step up and become the quarterback that everybody wants him to be. He's got to do that for himself. Nothing else can make him better or make him worse. But you remember the last time LSU rolled into Jordan-Hare in 2020, he was the quarterback, and it was a disaster. I mean, it was one of the worst beatings Auburn's put on LSU ever. And then, you know, you look at the end of last year, I know he was kind of thrust into the fire, but Auburn's offensive output was horrendous. They basically scored 10 points against Alabama. They scored 17 on the road against South Carolina, and they scored 13 against Houston. I mean, it's not even 2 touchdowns a game on average. I mean, when you average that up, I mean, that's where the issue is. So we're all pulling for him. We're all hoping we hope he comes out and proves everybody wrong. He's got the prime opportunity to prove to everybody he earned